Welcome back everyone, Sifu G, the Esoteric Warrior. Hope everyone's doing good today. You guys rock on YouTube, all the different comments and the likes and the sharing, some new subscribers. If you're new here, welcome, and I hope I earn your subscription, and I hope you get lots from my teachings. And today we're going to be talking about level 1 burning palm again. We've already did the hammer fist with the back fist, and now we're going to get into the different palm strikes. And there's 4 different palms, but there's other little intricate moves. And you got to remember, guys, when you do the form teaches a single power, single bridge and double bridge power, but you also got to look at the realistic of how to use it in reality, right? Form practice is fun, it gives you an idea of technique, and then the person needs to be able to apply it in a combative way. Otherwise, the forms are not going to help you so much. Unless you're a fighter already and you know how to fight, you could adopt it to your own way of combat. But I like to always show the reality of what I teach the best I can. And to me, it's vital to understand, and the form will teach you different aspects of combat. And the palms I'm going to show in level 1 of the Tibetan burning palm, that's on Vimeo. If you haven't got it, go and get it. It's unbelievable, and you're going to learn so much from it. Although what I teach in the form, you've got to be able to go take apart the form and go, what's more useful when it comes to if someone's shaping up from out of range, right? So you've got to have like a Tibetan boxing type of aspect to it with footwork and body movement. And then there's scenario type self-defense moves. So I'm going to show you on the bag and try to explain how a self-defense scenario could happen in the street, and how and why we use these palms. Now look at the difference from a finger jab of the distance to the fist to the palm, right? So there's a whole different length in the arm from a punch to a finger jab and the palm. So it gets shorter every time. So that means we should be at a closer range rather than palming from out here. When I can finger jab and punch, I've got longer reach in my fist than the palm. Unless you've got quick footwork and you can get in and use your palms, good luck. It can work. It's used in pancration as well, combat sport. It can work and it cannot work. So you've got to be able to differentiate the difference in a combat scenario where someone's up close, right? We've got elbows and palms that work just fine in the Tibetan burning palm system. So the first form, you'll see a short punch to the body and then a longer punch out like this. And in combat, that could be a high and a low, or a low high, right? Like a 1-2 like this, or you can reverse it as well. So you need to be able to think like a fighter and train like a fighter and apply it in a realistic way. And when you spar, you don't spar hard, right? And you can put on the headgear if you want, but when I used to teach, we always did body, taking the body and around from the shoulders down, so they learn body punching and getting the shots in that way, and you're not getting hit in the head so much. As you become into kickboxing or boxing, sooner or later you're going to have to spar and get hit in the head, but you want to try and reduce the risk of brain injury or CTE. So it's vital to understand and train correctly, in my honest opinion. Sparring is good, it's needed, but it doesn't need to be heavy sparring, knocking each other out. Usually sparring will start once you understand how to do pads and heavy bag, and sparring should be on nights that you're not doing your workouts, right? Because your fitness training on heavy bags and focus pads will get your fitness up, but you can't really spar afterwards because you're going to be so tired, you're going to have really poor technique, so you've got to be able to break it up, right? Be fresh with your sparring, and then your sparring will be a lot better than you've done an hour of workout and pad work and everything else, and then you're sparring and you can't keep your hands up, it's bad technique, and you're going to get hit in the face. If you're doing head punches, then that's not going to help you anyway, right? So let's look at if you're on the street, and it does happen a lot, people come up and they're in your face before you even know it, right? The first move from the form, it hits with an inverted palm, we call like a chanjung in Yogumun. Then it goes back palm, claws back, then a palm, yang palm, then it hooks and funds out and into the body. Now that could be the head as well, but in the form it goes one like this and into the body. And these other hands like I'm an octopus, right, is always hitting parts of the neck. At the same time could be trapping or grabbing an incoming strike and looking after that part if he's returning fire. So don't just think you stand there and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If you see me do it, it's like this, right? So look at the guys come in, he could have either grabbed you or go to push you. Now, from this position, we flare this elbow out, and I always say try not to let the elbow fly out, but there's a method to this, right? Especially if he's grabbed me, just say he's grabbed me with his left onto my right side. If I just try to palm strike him like this, he can just lift that elbow, his elbow up, and just derail that straight palm, the yang palm, right? So the good way about doing that, if he's grabbed and he tries to pop his elbow up, mine's going to go over the top of that, and a good strike will be to the jaw, right, the side of the jaw here, or just along there, the stomach point, like this, and that can rake back on the chin as well if you need to pull him at that point. Right, so there's a lot, I'm just going to show you some of the basics. Right, so from here you can even step with that out on the side, so any incoming punch is not going to be as damaging as if standing here, boom, and getting hit. Right, so it could be like this, hey man, that one no problem, and then palm to the face. That could even cover the eyes. And another way to use this part is under the nose and peel it back, and you can control the spine by controlling the head underneath that nose point, and you roll it back. So that can be one, and roll back as well. Right. So for the first one, cutting in on a 45, then it flips over with the backhand, and look at the side of the throat here, right? Bang, not so much the head, unless you've conditioned those, the back palm, back of the hand with iron palm training. But remember, it's a yin hand, and the yin means it's just a flick like that, right? And that's all you need sometimes, and you can knock someone out very lightly in the throat. So the first one could have knocked his head away and then back into the throat like that. Right, so 1, 2, palm. This could be a chop even into the throat. Back with the yang palm like this, claw and chop into the throat, and then palm to the ribs, the liver, or the spleen, if it's his left side of the body. Right, so you can go 1, 2, 3, like this. Right, 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. Sounds like that, right? Right, so in close and step off the line, so in case he's trying to move in. Right, straight into the face, into the neck, chop into the throat, or palm again with the Tahn Ging, back with the palm. Once that could have clawed that face, chop in like that, right? So when I go 1, 2, 3, see this move, and in. If I use my palm just to set up, and he puts his hand up, I'm going to snatch that and take away that bridge and open up the palm straight into the body. Right, so I can set that up in like that. So if I attack high, he puts his guard up, and I can come in just to peel it away a bit. As I peel that away, I want to hit to the throat and in. Right, so from here, 1, 2, like that. If you're out of range, like this, and move through. So look at the scenario aspect of the art as a self-defense scenario, not always straight up, gotta box it and so forth, which is vitally important because that's what happens in the street as well. But a lot of times people do approach you and get in your face, and that palm can even set up just to push him away. Even that would get your distance. I know that rib's open, but I can change that at any time. I can go from low and just mix me hands up. So once you get good at your form, reverse the combinations, mix the combinations, and you'll understand the section a lot more efficiently, right? Right, so from here, 1, like that, right, and in the street fight, a good palm, my teacher told me, use the soft parts of the hand to the hard parts of the body, and the hard parts of the hand to the soft targets of the body. When you're hitting to the body like this with the palm, try and cut in. It's not just flat like that. I want you to use that edge to get into the ribs like that. So it's not just this, there's a little digging action. Right, so from here, 1, notice this part can be the head turning into the kidneys as well. Right, 1, 2, 3, like that, or off on the angle, like this. Right, so there's different ways to practice it, but practice everything you can, understand the best way you can, and make your burning palm boxing into a machine, a combat machine, right? So if you looked at the hammer fist and the back fist, if we went from a 1, 2 and moved through like this, right, you can get a whole combination of the first 4. Right, 1, 2, this, and get yourself moving and using the bag. And notice I'm not just in my head's level, I'm actually learning to drop high, drop low, like this, right? Then coming up, I'm using my body and my head evasiveness at the same time. I'm always trying to keep my mind on if they're returning punches as well. a lot of Kung Fu keep their body level and their head just straight. Not in the arts I teach, like Iron Snake and the Burning Palm, Immortal's Blood as well. There's a lot of head movement that's probably not seen because it's not brought up enough by the teachers, because the teachers are inexperienced or just don't have that combat experience, right? So you can use your 1-2 like this, right? Or if you can close your right? So you got a short stabbing once into the body, then back over. If you use it this way, doesn't matter, right? And you play around, you can mix it all up. Go from a hammer fist, right, into all that. You go from here back out, and go from either over. That's the beauty of level 1 Tibetan Burning Palm. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you liked it. A little something from Sifu G. Always try to give you something to help you think, especially in what I'm teaching, for the people that have bought the video. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure you train hard and train smart.